Zuma. Check it, boys. Zuma, Zuma, boom, boom. I'm heading over into black screen land, which will turn into chat land. And we're going to start off with boom, boom, Zuma. BTC. Good evening. It's about 10:51 p.m. on a Saturday night, 10/18, 2025. Trick or treat. We got Halloween coming. Thanksgiving's coming. Santa's coming. Are we going to have a Santa rally? Did you make it through what just happened? Obviously, any stop losses were taken out. I joke about it, but it's very serious. I could talk about it for 20 minutes. I usually go about 20 minutes. It works better. I got plenty of videos that'll eventually be downloaded in the other channels, so make sure that you check out the other channels as we build the new YouTube. You guys that are engaging, continue to engage over there if you want to, and I'll come through and talk to you. You can ask questions. I'll have Moneymaker post some stuff, and you are welcome over on the Telegram. You just come talk to me, and I got lots of videos for you and stuff. And obviously, the more the more private stuff, which I show you a lot. I really do. You have to. Lots of people don't trust what I show, and you have to watch it for a while. So this channel, the importance of the channel, the story tonight, the message tonight, 10/18/2025. 10:52. I do that so that I won't run the video too long, but I'm pretty good about my timing. But I do hour rooms, and I used to do 2 hour rooms, and I used to do 5, 7 rooms a week in the early days, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, all the way into 16, 17. And I called the Super Bowl Bear, and you'll probably get one of those videos eventually if we do it. On my older videos, I got videos all the way back to 2017. So, what you come here for tonight was micro. What's going on, man? They cleared, and I explained this in the last video. They cleared all the leverage, and it takes a little bit of time for this to reset. There's nothing changed on my call on BTC except if you're in leverage, most likely you got stopped out. That's just part of trading. So the short-term nature of Bitcoin, you could come right back in. It's more of a spot trade than what I consider a banker's trade because they pushed almost to 100. It is not a bear still for me. I'm not bearish until 100 is breached and solid candles are printed. That means that they'll have to come below where they just went and print some solid candles down here, and then I'll turn bear. There's other charts that I look at too that I'll show you that you may not understand. USDT dominance chart and the time frames and the moving averages are where I actually start to look for my money to be short. It's not a good idea for most folks to be shorting BTC or using leverage in crypto. It's built in. The alts that I show you at the end, everybody, I joke about it, but there's certain people that are very interested in alts, and I'm very skilled at the alts. So if you're interested in alts, you're in the right channel. Even though we may not lead with it, it's because it won't get very many views and it doesn't draw people because they've been crushed. Um, 2021, as we ran the last pool, it was nearly 2 years of just alts, alts, alts. It was, if you knew how to manage your money and you knew what you were doing, you bankrolled yourself for years. You started businesses off of crypto. A lot of people did a lot of things that I taught over the years because I've taught a lot of people about crypto. I've done a lot through the years with crypto. The story, the message, the Trump tweet will go all the way back. It's been a week. We've recovered in the other markets, like I always say that we tend to do, and we've been doing it since Trump was the president. The tariff shit comes, the deleveraging, all this shit happens with crypto, and they don't ever really recover as much as they got hit, and the other markets recover, and then Trump comes along and tweets again, and crypto gets hit. Obviously, BTC has continued to march. Ethereum really just a healthy correction. If I roll over to Ethereum, alt guys, I would say focus on the cycle as we condense down into time and look more and more into maybe this alt season and the way they roll this out, and start to kind of lose alt season out of your vocabulary, especially if you're new to the channel. I'm gonna start erasing alt season out of your mind. It's gonna be a really quick thing. Most people miss it. Most likely it'll be about 4 to 8 weeks of absolute insanity. FOMO, agreed. The metal markets are kind of in the middle of what's going on right now, and that's a big difference. And that's a whole nother video. I have videos on silver at the Telegram channel. So I will tell you, Interested in a Telegram channel, want to come over and be more active. You got a good head on your shoulder. You're not chilling nothing. You're really interested in learning, and are capitalized with some capital and maybe even have some crypto and some knowledge, but no shilling. And I am the boss, and I am me, and I can get pretty goddamn fiery. I keep it out of these YouTube videos, not to scare people away, but I can be fiery teacher. I don't really consider myself more of a teacher. Well, a teacher, but very fiery. I'll tell you the way it is because this shit's serious, and people have all kinds of serious situations that go on with crypto markets. First thing that just kind of pops in my mind is the gambling aspect of this and the leverage situations that just happen in the degens and all that stuff. It's not always a bright thing to stare in the face with folks. So I've dealt with all kinds over the years. 150 still my call. You can see the fibs here, the 1.27, the 1.6. That's what those white lines are. If you're wondering, there's a fib extension. I pulled the whole entire leg of the last move. Why? Because if I went and showed you gold and silver right now, which I got a cover, silver call, I made it 30. It's straight up. It just makes sense. This is right behind the anti-fiats. Normally, Bitcoin will run after gold runs and has a pullback. That's the narrative. You have to be contrarian to think that they're not going to do this. And does that could the people who called a top around 120, 130, wherever that is, actually have called a top? They could, and if they go behind below 100, those people were right and they got one right. What about the fibs? What about the math? The way I have it lined up is they're probably going to make that move. It makes the most sense, and most likely this move can cause alts to take hits. It depends on the type of price action they spring, which they've been switching back and forth for a while now, if you've been paying attention. Sometimes Bitcoin goes down 10% and the whole market goes down 90, like they just did. That was very rare. Sometimes BTC will start going up 2 or 3%, and it's causing the alts to go down in USD value because their BTC pairs are getting hit because BTC has gotten strong. People say people run from BTC to the alts and stuff like that, but a lot of this stuff is botted up in institutions and all that. So that all that type of stuff is going on. So what I'll say is most likely if we get a run of 150, it should be supportive to your alt USD pairs. I do not see it's doing this move and it causing dramatic effects to your trades or what's going on. But you may want to sit back and let this take place. Is this the last straw? Is this what we're waiting on? I guess so. Could we have an alt season if BTC doesn't go up any higher here? Possibly, but with the type of price action we've seen with the alts, if BTC breaks 100 and dives to 80 and 70, which is very possible here, and 60, and could go very fast because it's just an open pocket, of open space. The price discovery works both ways, and this is crypto, and in so many ways, it's propped up on what? And I'm not even going to go into that. There is the narrative of the stable coins. There's a lot of narratives. There's a lot of reasons why the alts will become important here. And what they'll do is start dropping news. So as part of your homework, if you're going to follow me and listen to me and you're going to spend your 20 or 40 minutes a week on the YouTube listening to my videos, that's where we'll start at. You're going to give me 40 minutes a week and you're going to listen, but you got what the rest of the whole week if you're going to really truly think about crypto, and it's a viable alternative to you providing yourself with money, income, or investments for long term, or any kind of what I can provide you with, which is a lot of different things. To be honest with you, but that kind of that mentorship that's in the back door of this, the private stuff, what people like to call signals, trade calls. Really, I don't really like the signals and trying to grind out money every week. I'm more of a swing trader long term. I can do short term. Yeah, when the market is lively, if we get a 6 month period of what is really technically, in so many ways, alt season. Sure, it's very easy and I can manage it for you and save you time, and even you can work your job and then you got Scott. That's what all that's about, and that's what that paid service is about that you'll hear from time to time, although it's not a main focus of what these videos are about. I'm trying to get Moneymaker, and he's got to get the time, the guy that helps me with the YouTube, to build the school and the channels around you so that you find that when you go on these channels, you have supportive videos to some of the subjects and different things I talk about. Macro, micro, fundamental charts. What's the difference here? There's a difference. You'll see me kind of go in and out of those differences. The DXY, that's macro, that's fundamental. That's what tonight will be about, Saturday night BTC. Ethereum, the big boys in crypto, those are the macro, the big boys. The alts, the ones I slip in that you can make a lot of money off of, that used to be the talk of the town and what people were interested in, and really where my expertise lies in so many ways, although my expertise is in Forex. That's where I come from. So I can lay the Forex, the Australian dollar, the New Zealand yen, any of those kind of trade situations I can put right in front of you. I actually made this call, which is very interesting because of the volatility, and that shows you risk off. And that's what's happened to the markets with what Trump just did. When we're risk on, this thing's marching and it's still got a ways to go, which tells me we still got a chance. Hopium. I'm giving you hopium, because I'll give it to you. I'm not trying to FOMO you out. I'll get you excited. I'll show you things that I'm interested in. That if you don't get into that, there's very much a potential that you won't get a good entry, and I'll never help you with it, because that's a bad way to say it. I won't give you more entries. I won't go try to say, hey, let me get you in here so you make 100%. No, you missed a 900% of it. No, but there's still risk all in, and that goes over a lot of people's head. But that's some of the stuff you'll see me do with my Forex, and I am at the top of the pyramid or the chain of Forex man. I can do stocks. What else can I do? Gold and the metals, which I've just been absolutely ripping those calls, and I've got some great videos over on Telegram. So if anybody else comes through, just work through the process of getting to me and talking to me, and as long as you behave and you're not some kind of con or scam, and I have a lot of problems with that over the years. If you catch me on any of my social medias, I'm not talking to you. My messengers are blown up with con and scam, and I'm over it. I mean, sometimes I ran about it on my social media, which all this stuff is absolutely free the last time I checked, right? And I do a good job whenever I come in here. So when you spend 40 minutes a week watching my videos, you should be able to get a bunch of value out of listening and kind of dissecting what I'm showing you and the direction I'm leading you. Does that mean I'm always right? Absolutely not. And this shit can get very ridiculously hard to do. Don't let anybody ever convince you. Ena, remember I've been mentioning that guy, absolutely blasting. It's built some green on top of it. I would give you fundamental homework, Ena, dropping an alt, and fundamental calendar, because that's what'll happen. That's the best thing to talk about when I roll the board and we make our way down to Ethereum, which is our next macro tonight. Micro. So it's bleeding a little bit. It's red on the 3-day here. Let's go to the day. So it's had a little bit of bounce. Leverage. Not so much leverage tonight, even though I showed y'all leverage, but yeah, this will be the one that you would want to look at, leverage, I would say. Could it go lower? Absolutely. That's that short-term mess. I'm more of a long-term. What am I showing you here? That, if they're going to go, normally they're going to break from that. See how symmetrical that is. They'll go up and they'll break this, and then usually they'll pull back, and that's where the trading comes in, because this is pretty bearish. There's nothing wrong with people, especially regular folks thinking, or normies, normal TA folks come in and say, hey man, it's crazy, that's bearish. You're right, it's bearish. It's under 2 moving averages. But crypto will switch the script on you in a heartbeat, because before all this happened, it was rather bullish up here, breaking a pattern in so many ways, right? There was a solid candle up there, and they reversed it, and they've been doing this, you guys. I mean, it's not like they didn't do it right here. They got rather bullish. The green lights were all there, and then they absolutely friggin' brutalized Ethereum. For all the people talking about Ethereum right now, you sure the hell weren't talking about it when I was talking about it. So I have videos, I have coverage, I've spent a lot of time now. I felt like that a lot of folks were looking at alts, and a lot of hodlers and a lot of people have gotten themselves into alts. And that if you get this type of move right here, it should lift the boat. Well, it didn't do a good job, especially after that little bit of correction coming in, because that, except for regular folks, is very normal for us, expected. They come back down. I thought they may go a little bit sooner, because a bull will take off on you, and that's the issue with trading. There's some trading in here if they took off, and you just get stopped out. But people don't necessarily do that type of risk management. But I do, what I will say is that this is likely the spot. So that's why I mentioned leverage. And I'm going to let you figure it out because you should be good enough to be able for me to give you leverage spots or leverage charts and say, hey, maybe not BTC right now, but Ethereum, mainly because if you can get some leverage going here, my target's 10 grand. What is your target? Now, my target from the bottom there was 6 or 7, and I'll clearly state that over and over that when I put folks in here, I told them I thought it was more like a 2x or a 3x at the moment. They had absolutely blistered it. It was awful. Everything that you read about Ethereum was awful. Now you have SharpLink, and you have, I'm pretty sure SharpLink. No, it's Bit. No, I'll get them all down. It's Bit. God, they have so many of those. It's not Bitwise, and Tommy Lee. Going after 5%, it's probably gonna go up, and they'll get 10 and 20, and they'll start doing the Sailor thing, which Sailor doesn't have that much of BTC, but that's the situation there. And I feel like they're gonna get this going. They, kind of need to pull it back up in there and get better. It's bearish in a way, but really quick here, boop, really quick here. I'll pull a tool. One of my favorite ones, the Fibonacci, what, extension. And that leg of money, is that where you pull from? Very likely. They go up and hit a banker's fib, and then I start to look up, and you can see I quickly start to I want to hit almost perfect there. And I'm pulling real quick, so you have to go in and tighten it up. I like when these things show me the 1.27. That is a banker's fib in Forex. And it gives me something to work with. You can see 9. And if you start to come up with these type of use this tool, and especially when you go into price discovery, and you've been doing crypto for a while, and I have, that most times they're going to go higher than you think. So I see 9, I'm like, man, I can call 10 on this, but it's going to be real hard to get a 10. Most folks probably only want to take this to 8. 8 could come all the way back down to 5, and then they could go back up to 10. All I should have to do is say, look backwards, make sure you zoom out, because that's the type of situation that you're looking at. Some folks think this has already happened, but I just don't think so with the rest of the market. Frederick does keep taking his hits. Obviously, they just absolutely brutalized the alts. But Ethereum and BTC really didn't do anything that bad. I told you guys, there's really nothing going on. The AI coins are still the AI. Breathe, Scott. Breathe. You're not out of time. I keep thinking, I want to keep it so the YouTube won't suppress it if I go too long. Although I see plenty of folks over there with like hours that just have plenty of views. The AI coins continue to get blistered. I do feel like the narrative on the alts you would think would be RWA, real world assets, and AI, and they're absolutely will not let these alts breathe. As you can see, they just tortured them. And I honestly thought they were going to take off from here at one point, and you can see why stop losses are so important. This money's brutalized. It can come back real fast. This thing, you can wake up in the morning and it'll be up here too. It's one of the main AI coins, but it ain't done shit. Should you buy it because it's so cheap? Ah, they seem to have issues right now, but that's the can be the trick sometimes. So that's what I'll tell you. I told you guys on this channel I would keep coming back to light and link. Obviously, when I go through the big and the macro, in the story and stuff, especially what's going on, the big spike in this week, it spiked again. It seems to have been the banks, and a bank scare, not Trump. But we've got November 1st. Trade deal, trade war. I think it's going to be end up being a success, but it's a tricky. It could get very volatile. The Feds are coming up. Most likely, they're going to cut rates, but everybody knows that. Really, the only move in our crypto that was worth like really showing. There was a few. Melon's another one, so I'll show you some green. And a lot of these coins have done that. It's after they got blistered. This is one of my coins that I like right here. I thought they were really getting ready to take off and do something like that even more, and they come in here and blister it. Didn't get hit as bad as some of the other ones. On Kraken, the wicks are a little worse, but you can see over here, and it starts to pull up in here, and it's going to get critical. And you're going to have to expect moving average blood alts at the end. Remember, but Litecoin got blistered like all the rest of them. Coinbase, it's a good place to go look and look at the wicks. maybe not as bad as some of the rest of them. And obviously it was up into the 140 and it was trying to make a run. My call here is around 100, obviously a little bit lower than that. So there's some value there. If you go listening to anything I put on this channel, you need to understand that I may not, you don't have the full support of my information and the charts and the mentality and the keeping up with it and all that. So you got to really know what you're doing, even though I'm showing it to you and kind of handing it to you. And this should be a good example of why, because there, after I get through BTC and Ethereum, and this is a pretty bad hit, and then I'll go over to Link because to me you'll hear me talk about the big three, but there's really a big four to me, and this is the other one, and it got blistered too. But you can see it's really not in a bad spot. Am I going to tell a lot of people to go out there going and buying a lot of this stuff right now, like a lot of the crypto people and influencers do? No. If you know what you're doing, they probably have handed you some candy, and that's 16. There's a possibility it goes to 100. That's what I'll leave you tonight with Link. 50, and then price discovery. And I'll let you use your training and what you understand and all that to figure out the rest of this. Obviously, if you're on the Telegram, some of you guys in the public want to even have your chat on, and you can come over and talk to me about this. When this stuff starts to go off, if it goes off as I propose, people get very crazy and emotional and FOMO, and my hands get full. So that's what I tell you. Thank you for coming and supporting the YouTube. Hit the like and love and make some and talk to me and all that. And we're glad you made it over. I think you'll find that you're on one of the better YouTubes, even though there's not 1 million. I don't know. I don't know. We're not going to talk about the industry. Maybe another night, but this is the client exclusive Saturday night video first. And you guys actually will get it Sunday, about Sunday or Monday is when we actually get it dressed up and over on the YouTube. That's the beauty of the Telegram in so many ways. I come through and I do charts. I have other videos. It's more of a live wire. So feel free to reach out and ask us about that. And either me or Moneymaker will show up and we'll talk to you. And I will see you in the next video. Clients, you reach out to me if you need me. We've had a dramatic kind of COVID-like event, and it's very reminiscent of how I felt before COVID happened, where I was so close to calling a bull, but I had those square ups down on BTC at 4, and I knew it was too dangerous. We had way below on BTC this time, but no indication except a potential of a black swan. But the other markets were signaling risk. So what they've done in so many ways is they cleared the board of all this leverage that was built up over the last 4 years, and it should recover. And my thoughts are this Trump stuff will work itself out. Although there's a lot that I can speak about with the mineral rights and China and the stamp of our weapons and them supporting and providing us with the supplies, because that's what that's about. And it goes deep, and it's not necessarily for the end of a video. So see you in the next video. Reach out my clients, reach out YouTube, engage all you guys listen to this video. I will see you in the next one.